Hey campers, George here, back in the man cave. Got me 3 knives. See these? Electrician's knives. They look the same, but they're not. Plus one is getting a major upgrade. Let's check him out. So like I was saying, I got me some electrician's knives. Well, not right now. They kind of joined the collection over a small period, and I found them because I put them in my to-do next thingy. Why? Because I like electrician's knives. I have a couple of them, some very cool ones, and these are a huge addition to them. Here's the first one for sure, something I don't have. Look at that. It's a 3-blader. You got the tool, you got this guy, kind of sort of a hawkbill carpet knife, and then your regular knife. The handle, I'm not a big fan of, but it's got the 3 blades, so it goes in the collection. Who made it? This one, let me show you. You can see right here is an Imperial, Ireland, stainless wood. 3 blades. Never seen this before. I want to say I found this at an antique shopping with Keith, I believe. I'm not sure. I can never remember. I need to make better notes, right? So very cool. As you can see, the blades and all, really good condition. How old it is, I have no idea. I'll see what I can find, but if I remember, not much on it. And like I said, here's the tank stamp, Imperial Ireland. So very cool. It has this, I don't know what it is, like that hard plastic. I suppose makes it more modern. They put this one here, which I would assume you would put your initials or something on there so that nobody runs off with your work knife, right? Got a bail, but you know, it's an electrician's knife. It's pretty cool. One thing I do like is look at the handle here. See how it divots in there like that? Gets thinner. When you hold the knife, it's right there. Now, the blade doesn't lock. And if I remember properly, this one is just like all the other ones. The tool is what locks. Obviously, when you, with your screwdriver part, you don't want it to suddenly slam on your finger. So it has that brass liner lock like all of them. It sits pretty cool, and like all of them there's a little bit of play but not much, and I see that a lot on them. And then of course you've got this wire stripping, that'll work. But in overall work EDC, these are the best knives you can get for that. Anywho, here we go, Imperial Ireland. This next one is a little unusual for me. It's a little beat up, but we can fix it and do what needs to be done. And here it is here. And this looks like your typical, everyday electrician's knife. It's got the tool and the blade. Still got a little bit of belly left on the blade there, which is a good thing. The handle, you can see just there, there's a crack in the handle. See that? We can fill that in with some good stuff, seal it up. It won't be that obvious. Needs a good cleaning. The blades are not like rusty, but we can shine them up. After all, it is a sharp and shiny. And it's got a bail, all the good stuff you need, and of course the tool locks. Who made this guy? Well, did you see the tang? Let me show it to you quickly. Okay, Ontario knife. Wait a minute, look carefully at it. See there? There's a line going through the O. Kind of looks like a Q on its side, right? Maybe Queen did it. Who knows? But it's very cool and very unusual. I'm going to look it up and see if I can find more about this. I'll let you know. It's a little beat up, needs to be cleaned up, shined, sharpened, the usual, and a good addition, a really good addition to my electricians. Very excited about this one. The next one is, well, Sentimental. Yeah, I already have one of these. And this guy right here, see that? Yep, it's that favorite knife of mine. Finger, see it there? Camelus. You know what I mean. Love these guys. I have one already, and it's in way better condition than this guy. This guy's been pretty well used and beat up. Okay, look at the blade. Doesn't even have the belly here anymore. Here's the other one I have. See that? Sharp and shiny, for sure. Clean this guy up. You can see them together here. You can see the differences. They're basically the same thing. Not quite the same. Well, they're the same, except different ages. Well, what am I going to do? Remember these guys? Yeah. Ironwood handles are put on them. And yep, they're all Camelus. They're all the same guys. All different knives. We've got a camper, 2-blade jack, another 2-blade jack, different sizes, all that I put ironwood handles on. We're going to change the handle. Got me some ironwood. Very cool. Now I'm starting to gather my own collection. Camelus Ironwood series. I don't know. But I'm thinking these will go together really well. And whenever I find a better or a duplicate Camelus, you know what I mean. I'll add to it. I can still get the ironwood. I found a place. So that'll be a good collection to going. Something different. Just so that you know, the boss is impressed with this choice of my video. Ugh. I'm boring her to death. Okay. So here we have the knives. So the plan is to put these on this guy and to clean up these guys. Now this guy doesn't need a lot of cleanup. There's a little bit of rust, but otherwise it's pretty clean. That shouldn't take long. Same thing for this guy. A very basic cleanup and shine. Obviously sharpen where needed. Now this guy is where all the work's going to be. So here's what I'm thinking. We start on this guy, get the handle off, start prepping the wood, get as far as you can until we're at the point where we have to wait, which happens a lot when doing this. Things like gluing this to that before you start shaping it. You got to let it sit and set and things like that. While that happens, we'll work on those two guys. So let's start with this guy. So this guy, let's have a look at him before we start tearing him apart. Always a good idea to check before you start playing with knives. One thing you always need to check, is this been sharpened? Yep, and it's pretty sharp. And that's the tool, which tells me the blade is sharp as well. So when I'm working on this, I'm going to have to be aware of that. So probably just tape them together and work on it that way, or have them in the handle closed. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, which means taping, untaping and all that good stuff. It's kind of painful, but it's better than losing your fingers. So keep that in mind. It's pretty clean actually. If you look inside, it's not too bad. The blades, I can do with a polish. They're kind of scratched in that, but not a big deal. Doesn't affect the blade or anything. And we can minimize that and give it a good polish and shine. Generally pretty good. Even the handles. I'm almost wondering if I should save the handles, which I probably will do because I can always use them for something else. The wood we're going to use, ironwood. So what we have to do is we've got to take these old handles off. We need the pin positions. So once we have that off, we'll cut these to size, match them up, get the holes matched up, drill them,
get them ready, and obviously get this as small as we can, so there's not a lot of work to be done on it. You know, trimming it down to match the liners and everything lines up. So there's that. So once we have that done, these drilled, we got to glue it and then pin it, and then we just tidy it up and do a general clean. So that's what we're going to do right now. When we glue it, we need to let it sit. It's kind of important. And you know, you can put the pins in, trim them down. You don't actually pin it, just let it set, and then pin it when you feel it's dry. While we're doing that, we'll work on the other two ne'er-do-wells. So let's have at it. I'm going to try and cut them first. I'm hoping I can get this in here. They are really tight, and I'm wondering if I just grind these down a little bit, it'll loosen up and we can get them in. One thing you need to notice, this is steel and this one is brass. We'll see how we go with that. Brass is so much easier to pin than steel. So let's see if we can get this apart. Okay, I've managed to get it in there. I actually had to come in from the side, tap it in, and then move the blade around so I could get it there. So what we want to do here is try and tap this into there. It's not ideal. I should have the blade here. I'm going to try this. If it doesn't work, we'll go to some other way. We'll have to figure it out. I don't want to be banging on this. Plus I'm going to use a soft blow. I'm really worried about the blade flying off in different directions here. So a little nervous. Well, let's try this with some slow taps. Let's try that. And we're going to go really slowly. I've never done it this way. I'm hoping I can get enough through to cut that pin. And I'm going to go real slow because I'm worried about that breaking. Looks like we're on the pin. Be careful, these things can suddenly break. Maybe I can now get it in under there. Ooh, look at that. Ha ha! I have to get the blade both sides here. Got him taped up, so now we've got to open this wide enough to sit the blade in there on both sides. That's actually pretty good right there. I'm going to tap the top here slowly. And see, I've got the edges of the blade on both sides sitting on the vise. There we go. We cut through it, right? Here we are. We got just enough room to sit the blades on either side. There we go. We'll pull the pin with it like that. Coolio. It's interesting that they have these tabs. They melted them in. Oh, well, they could do that because they could melt them on and then pin through. I was wondering how they did that. That's how they did it. Alrighty. Very exciting. Now we can look at our knife. And the great thing is, you got to remember, this here is the springs. The springs are not pinned on this side. They get pinned here and there to hold them in. So when you open this up, the springs will most likely fall out. That's okay because there's kind of a lot of rust and stuff on them. Does it make a difference? A slight difference. When you're opening and closing and the pins are rusty, they don't move as freely. So if you just clean them up, you'll get a smoother open and close. I mean, they don't move much, but it's going to help. You want to put them in when you're working with the knife. One of the reasons is, if you look at the liners, they're flexible. You don't want to accidentally bend them or anything, or push on them, cause a bend. Try to keep the springs in there whenever you can. It just supports everything and stops getting bends or whatever in the liners. But I'm going to clean the springs off, then we'll sit them back in there. While we have it apart, we can just clean up the liners as well, so that when you look in the well, they'll be even cleaner. I've just got some 1500 grit here. It's going to smooth these off a bit. They don't need to be polished. You're never going to see them, but you want to get any build-up or anything on it off. A quick rub smooths them out. And now you can clean these up. Give them a quick rub. You have better access to it. You can just get them shinier. And of course down here in the well. It's a huge advantage when you're in this situation. If you don't take the knife apart like this, you can't clean these up very well. And when you look into the well, you can see it. I'm going to clean them up quickly on both of them. So they're a little cleaner. That'll work. Now we can clean up these liners a little bit, give them a bit of shine. These bend a lot. This middle one is pretty thick and fairly supportive, and it's part of the lock, the liner lock for the tool. So it's pretty sturdy, but still, if you look, you don't want to unbend it here, because that's where the liner lock slides across. So be careful of that. Support it and give it a quick rub. Let's make it look a little shinier. Okay, everything's a lot shinier. Put these back on here. Now when you look inside there, it's a lot cleaner. Let's work on the wood. Now that we have chosen our pieces of wood, when you mark them out now it gets to be really important. You want to give yourself room. You're going to leave a little bit that you're going to have to file down and line up with the rest of the liners. So I like to give myself a little bit of room. So I'm going to do this. The reason you want to give yourself a little bit of room is if you drill these a little off slightly, you've got wood on the edges to work with. I'm thinking the easiest way to do it is to keep these tied together, tape this on, and drill straight through both of them. The lines match, and we'll be all good for both of them. Yep, another hard day in the office. Okay, we got the wood on. Unfortunately, I didn't measure right. Well, I did for the holes, but when I cut the wood, I messed up. I can fill them. I've got plenty of wood for magic dust. So let's glue them on. So here we have it together. One thing you got to remember is you don't want to be squishing hard down on these, because if you do, you're going to cause the liner to bend like that, and it's going to glue like that. It'll stay like that, and what you happen is when you try and close the blade in, the liner's bent in and you can't close the blade because the wood will hold it there. So keep that in mind. You just want to hold it firmly against there, not tight. So now we've got these two guys, and this is the guy we want to look at first. You can see the stainless steel is in very good condition. It just needs a bit of a polish, maybe 10,000, and this just needs to be cleaned out, I'm thinking, because it's just dirt. Wash it out, and then there's some rust along here. So we can give this a quick rub. I'll wash it out here. I'll use Mary's toothbrush again. Not really. This guy needs a little bit more. He's not stainless, so we've got a little patina going on. Not a big deal. No matter what you do, it will patina with age anyway. But it's always nice to start off with a nice clean knife. So we're going to have to give this guy a clean up and a polish. And of course, all of them are going to need to be sharpened. Maybe not this one. The other one's drying, so we've got time. So now we've got to wait for this to settle. So here we are here. I've just been going over this, getting rid of the excess on it from where we filled in that line. The main reason for this is just to support it more. You got a crack like that, can become a problem. Set that one aside and let's do this thing. So we stuck it together, and as you can see, I totally messed up the ends here. And as you saw, I talked about magic dust, so I filed and saved me some. So what we'll be doing with that is we'll mix it with the JB Weld and then fill it in and let it dry again. But before we do that, I want to trim all this edging down so we're a little closer, and hopefully we'll be able to put that middle pin in by squeezing, and I'll show you that as well. So let's start trimming this stuff down. Morning, campers. So I let it dry overnight and then, well, dry reasonably, and then spent a couple of hours. So when I'm heavy grit, shaping the handle. So we got it pinned and everything. Wasn't a complete disaster. For some reason on the handle here, I don't know if you can see it, but there's lines across it here. It was on the original wood. I think it was part of the saw marks when they cut it. Been trying to get rid of that. Got most of them, but I'm worried about making divots. So we've got the basic shape now. I was using heavy grit. So now I want to go to a finer paper. This was 180. I had to take a lot of wood off. I'm going to go to 600 here. Start smoothing it off. And then we'll go to probably 2000, and then we should be good. Shouldn't take much just to smooth off the wood. And of course, when I was doing that, I really scratched up the bolsters, so we're going to have to fix them up. I mean, it's not bad. I just want to get rid of the scratch mark so we can get it nice and sharp. Nice and smooth now. All right. I'm not going to be using this for food prep, but I didn't want to be keeping boiled linseed oil in the cottage. It's kind of flammable. And although it does a better job, this does a pretty good job. And of course, it's food safe. So here we go. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now we're going to put a couple of coats on this thing. Let's put a coat on, leave it for a little bit, let it soak in. Look how it brought that out. Nice. I love this ironwood. This ironwood. Actually, while I'm doing this, I think I'm going to get the others and just touch them up. So, I-O. It's off to work I go. Got bills to pay. Come back and clean them up and sharpen. 10,000 grit. Let's clean this guy up. So there you go, 10,000. Cleans up nicely. We'll go to Mother's next and then we'll sharpen. This is the OK one. It's actually a nice knife. It's really nice. Pity about that handle just with these little divots in them, but it's a working knife. Nice addition for sure. And there you go with Mother's. Cleans up these knives magically. Look at that. Even with all those scratches on it, it makes it look nice. Woot for Mother's.
So there you are, campers. We got me 3 new Electricians knives for my Electricians collection. It's growing. Very cool. This I don't have is a 3-blade Electrician. And this, of course, is the Imperial Island one. More modernish, the handle I'm not a fan of, but you know what? I don't have a 3-blader, so that makes up for it. And of course it was in really good condition, so hey, who am I to complain, right? So very cool. Imperial Island, I like that. Then we have this guy. Remember this guy? This is the, I believe it's Ontario Knives. But like I said, if you look at that Tang stamp there, it's got that line through the O to make it a Q, which makes me think that maybe Queen made this for them. I'm not sure, I'm just guessing there, but very nice, cleaned up nicely. I had to work a little hard on the blade because it had dents in it, kind of weird, dents out of it. I had to work through that. I didn't want to go too far. Got most of it out and it works okay. So we have a new Electrician's knife from somebody I don't have. Ontario knife, very cool. And then there's this guy from, you know, my favorite guys. We put a new handle on him, you can see that ironwood. Had to have the ironwood, and cleaned up very nice. You know, the blade, they normally have a belly. This one's been well used, so there's that. But it sharpened up just fine. And of course, I now started my own Camillus, however you say it, collection of ironwood handles. Look at these. Very cool. I'm running out of ironwood, but hey, we can always get more. They're all matching. Very cool. So I've got 4 of those. Every time I find a duplicate now, ironwood handle, and we'll get a nice little collection going. So there you go. Good project. I like doing this. These wood handles work out really well. And, you know, the wood and the brass are a great match. So I'm very happy with this guy. Worked out well. Even though I broke the corner here. Can you see it? It's down there. Just a piece came off just the very edge. Sorry about my fingers. I'm all dirty. So you can barely see it. So very cool. That worked out. You all be safe out there. When you working with these guys, and by the way, this is the duplicate of this guy. When you're working with these, you got to be careful, because if you find old ones, people sharpen these really sharp as well. They don't really need to be, because it's just a wire stripper. So be careful. Assume it's sharp. This one's not. It's got a slight edge on it, but it's not sharp like the blade. When you're working with sharp blades, always check your knife first. If it's sharp, then remember to tape it whenever you're going to be in a situation where, like, you're cleaning up here and, you know. Just saying. And don't forget, like, share, subscribe. You know the story. Pretty sure I'll be back. I'm working on another, well, I haven't really started on it, but thinking about another project with another knife. One thing I haven't done is a bone handle, and I think that's what I want to do next. So pretty sure that'll be coming up next. I just got to find the knife I want to put it on. It'll have to be a duplicate, because if I have an original, I like to keep it, and then if I find a duplicate, I can change it and make it mine. So there you go. And thanks for watching. Always appreciated. And we'll see you again soon.